Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been quite a while since my last video, but I'm back for the Eurovision 2024 season, which is kind of crazy because it's November. It's really early. It's getting earlier every year. It feels a bit like Christmas, to be honest. But it's France. Slimane with Mon Amour. It'll be my first listen. It'll be my first video of the new season, which is exciting as well. So if you're new here, my name is Rachel. I'm a huge Eurovision fan as well as a musician, and I'm ready to kickstart the new Eurovision season with my first reaction. So stay tuned to the end of the video. I'll score the song out of 10. It feels just so premature to be saying all this. I can't believe I'm doing this right now. But yeah, I'll be scoring it out of 10, and I will give my thoughts, comments, analysis, anything that stood out in the song. So it's exciting. It's only November, and obviously this year we had Lazara with Évidemment, which was in my top 10 by the end. It was a really great entry from France, really enjoyable, but it didn't do so well. It didn't do as well as everyone kind of expected it to do. It was supposed to be kind of one of the front runners to win, and it ended up finishing basically nowhere, mid-table. A bit of a disappointment, but still a really good entry, one to be proud of. And it seems like they're trying to top it this year with a really big artist. I've never heard of him, but apparently he's a really big artist in France. He's had some #1 albums and some success, which is great. And so they've stepped it up a little bit, and let's see how this goes. Let's get straight into this. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's roll on the next Eurovision season. I just want to give initial thoughts on this. This is how we do it on the Peace Around channel. About a third of the way in, I'll give my initial thoughts. So if you don't like the whole breaking up of the song, this is not this is just how I do it. This is my reaction style. But yeah, let's talk about the instrumental firstly. I think what really kind of is bringing the emotion is the vocals, first and foremost. They're really pushing hard with the kind of vibrato, but also the kind of, there's almost a shakiness and emotion behind it, which I really like. I think he's really kind of stretching out the notes, stretching out the syllables as well, to really bring this raw emotive feeling, which is good. The piano, however, I'm kind of feeling is a little bit pedestrian in comparison with the vocals. Now, sometimes that can work really well in a song where what is kind of playing with time the most is the singer, their portrayal of the lyrics, and just their use of the notes and their embellishment of the notes to create this really emotional performance. And then underneath it's all quite static. Sometimes that works. So far, I'm not quite sure if I think it's working to its full potential, because the piano is quite static and pedestrian. It's moving in very simple quaver movements, which is basically each note is pretty much the same length. It's just going da 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 da, and the chords are moving quite slowly as well. Now, some people might really like that type of music, that style. It's personally not my favourite type of thing. I prefer it when there's a bit more interaction between the piano and the vocal, especially if it's going to be a piano driven ballad. But I feel like they're also building in some more instruments, so I'm not going to kind of give my full conclusion on this. I want to hear a bit more, but so far I would like to hear a little bit more going on in the instrumental, just a bit more playfulness. I don't want the top line, him, to be just giving everything. I want also the backing track to be giving. So let's see. I haven't written anything off yet. Let's keep going. But so far, he is just great, isn't he? His voice, everything about his voice is definitely, has star power. It's just full of emotion. The tone is beautiful. He really has such a great range as well. Just every note he was singing was supported so well, and also had a nice dynamic range. He was singing quite forcefully and loudly with this emotion, but also when he was a bit more quieter, singing a little bit more wistfully. I also thought that was executed really well. My main qualm with this, I guess, is the instrumental. I just find it to be lacking in the same emotion emotional range, I guess, as the vocal was. The vocal and the performance that he gave was sort of top notch, but I feel like it was not being supported as well by that piano part that was written. It was quite kind of skeleton in its form and structure in the way that it had been spun out for the 3 minutes. I feel like they could have done a little bit more. There was glimmers of hope in there for me, like these little kind of more melodic lines in the piano, just a little, adding a few more notes, embellishing the chords a little bit more, making kind of the movement just slightly more interesting to listen to. It was less kind of robotic in that sense, and they were adding these kind of plucky high notes as well, bringing a bit more atmosphere, kind of like raindrops. But other than that, I mean, the drum machine to me was really lacking in energy. It was kind of just playing the same pattern, whilst I know a lot of people I've read have been comparing this, for instance, to like Dua Vitae from this year, which I think the drums that were in there, the piano lines, the strings, were just so much more interesting, elegant and full of emotion, and had more range in them, and more interesting. Like, even if you just took the vocal out and just listened to the instrumental, there was so much light and shade in there. It could have been something on its own, whilst with this, if you took the vocal away and the lyrics, the top line basically, away from the song, the instrumental is nothing to rave about, in my opinion. And I know it might be a little bit critical and harsh, but yeah, I just think they could have given me a little bit more to sink my teeth into in that case. I just think, you know, an emotional ballad like that, piano led, the piano's got to be more interesting. It's got to have, not necessarily overshadow the vocal, but definitely provide something a little bit more interesting, if that's a very a word lacking in meaning, I guess. Yeah, strings as well. I just think everything was slightly holding back, and I wanted a bit more from that. That would have given like a spine tingling moment in the song, which I think was missing. So yeah, in terms of melody as well, I kind of touched upon it. They had taken like a simple melody line for the chorus and kind of used the same pattern, repeating it, just moving the notes down each time to make it into a hook, which I thought was good. It was catchy, it's memorable. So yeah, I think overall I'm gonna say that was a 7 out of 10 for me. But yeah, vocals alone definitely would have been a much higher score, but I think what drags everything down is the instrumental for me. So let me know down below in the comments your thoughts on this. What do you think about it? Like it, dislike it? How are you feeling that we're now in the new Eurovision season? That's kind of crazy, it's so early. But yeah, consider subscribing if you haven't, and of course I'll be back on Saturday with a non-Eurovision related video, just kind of talking about a couple of songs that I've been enjoying recently. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.